Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, Miss Hua. My name is Nguyễn Tường, and today I'm glad to present Chapter 5, Sensory Principle for Smell. And here is the table content that cover all the content of the Chapter 5. Moving to the first part about the human nose and smelling. According to the theory in the textbook, the sense of smell developed before birth and is closely linked to the memory and emotion. Humans can remember scents for many years, and smell can trigger strong emotional memories. So, up to 80% of taste perception comes from the smell, meaning that the scent strongly influence the food experiences. For example, here we have Cinnabon Bakery. Cinnabon Bakery intentionally let the smell of freshly baked cinnamon rolls spread outside the store, and the import here is the warm cinnamon scents attract the attention, create craving, and trigger impulse purchase from the customer. So the insight here that scent can draw a customer into a service environment even before they see the product. And what is about a characteristic of smell? Here we have the first aspect about physiological. Humans have about 5 million olfactory cells in the nose and can detect over 1 trillion different scents. Scent molecules are detected by olfactory receptor and then signals are sent to the brain olfactory bulb to identify the smell. It takes about 400 milliseconds for the brain to recognize scent, slower than vision. And the smell is a synthetic scent. When different scents combine, they will create a completely new perception. Here we have the example of the Highland coffee. Highland coffee is designed so that the aroma of freshly brewed Vietnamese coffee spread throughout the coffee, and why it can work. The smell of roasted coffee beans immediately signal the freshness and quality, so the coffee aroma can enhance the perceived taste and the atmosphere, encouraging the customer to stay longer and purchase the drink. The second aspect of smell is the psychological. Human experience and physically first, then emotionally and cognitively. Reaction to smell are automatic. People can immediately like or dislike a scent, and smell is strongly connected to the memory, especially emotional memories. So, compared with the visual or the auditory stimuli, the scent can trigger stronger emotional recall. And about 70% of people can remember scent immediately, and 65% will still remember it after 1 year. Take Muji as an example. Many Muji stores diffuse the light natural aroma with the surface through the aroma diffuser, and the scent can create a calm and relaxing atmosphere. Customers associate the smell with minimalism and well-being, so this can respond encourage longer processing time and higher purchase intention. And with the section 5.3 olfactory perception and societal culture. What is the olfactory perception? So olfactory perception refers to how people receive and interpret the scent in the environment. Factors like temperature, humidity, and airflow can influence how a scent is perceived. What is considered a good or a bad smell depends on the cultural norms, and people often manage their personal scent, like the perfume or the hygiene, to fit the social expectation and gain a social acceptance. For example, the AXE market preference that reflect the different cultural perception of attractiveness and masculinity. The brand adapts scent profile and combines to match the local cultural references. This shows that the smell perception and acceptance can be vary across the society and culture. And about the individual references, each person has a unique fragrance fingerprint. People react to scent instantly with like or dislike, and familiar scents are usually referred while overly strong scent may become kind of annoying. For example, Dipty offer a wide range of distinct candle scents like rose, amber, or sandalwood that customers choose scent based on their personal taste and emotional association. The same scent may feel comforting for some, but too strong for others, showing that house smell reference is highly individual. Next is about group references. People from different cultures perceive and refer scent differently. Cultural experience shape how scents are interpreted and valued. For example, a smell considered pleasant in one culture, but may be unpleasant in another. And in high emotional contexts, scent association becomes strongly culture specific. Here we take Cocoon as an example. Cocoon develops skincare products with natural Vietnamese scents such as coconut, coffee, or pomelo, and these familiar local scents create an emotional connection with Vietnamese consumer. And the customer often refer this product because the smell feel natural, not toxic, and culturally familiar. With the same symbolism, people often find it hard to describe a smell with words. However, scent can trigger powerful emotional memory known as the bro phenomenon. Smell can act as symbol representing emotion, identity, or social meaning. Because scent work at an unconcealed level, so it can strongly influence the mood and behavior. For example, here we have Chanel number 5. Chanel number 5 is not only a fragrance but also a symbol of elegance and femininity. So the scent is associated with luxury, classic beauty, and iconic celebrity culture. For many consumers, smelling the perfume can evoke the emotional memory and brand symbolism, not just the fragrance itself. And next part is about the service environment. First, we will explore the olfactory stimuli in the service environment. Ambient scents are used in service environment to enhance the atmosphere and customer experience. Scent can influence the emotion, perception, and behavior. A pleasant scent can make the environment more memorable and engaging. For example, CCV cinema. Many CCV cinema intentionally allow the strong smell of freshly bought popcorn to spread in the lobby area, and the smell immediately signals the cinema experience to customer. It can stimulate the appetite and impulsive purchase of popcorn and snack. And what about the ambient scent in the service environment? Ambient scent is a background fragrance used in the service environment to create a pleasant atmosphere. Pleasant scent can improve the mood, reduce waiting stress, and increase time spent in store. And the scent must be current with the environment of or the product to create positive customer responses. For example, the potty shop. The potty shop store naturally smell like fruit, herbs, and essential oil from the product display, and the scent can reinforce the brand image of natural, ethical beauty because the smell match the product and customer perceive the store as authentic and pleasant. And the mood and behavior in the service environment. Ambient scent can influence customer mood and behavior in service environment. Different scent trigger different psychological effects. Like the sodas can improve the mood and mental performance. The mint can increase the concentration. The vanilla create comfort and reduce stress. The lavender can be imparted with the relax and reduce anxiety. So when scents are current with the environment or product, customers tend to stay longer and spend more money. For example, the Pizza 4B restaurant, with the smell of freshly baked pizza dough and melted cheese from the open kitchen spread throughout the dining space, the scent creates a warm and appetizing atmosphere so that it can stimulate hunger and encourage customers to order more food. And the smell match the product, strengthening the overall dining experience. And with a scent symbolism in the service environment. Certain scents carry the symbolic meaning and emotional association based on the past experiences. For example, here we have the lavender and beige eucalyptus can refer to the relaxation, and the peppermint rosemary can be the freshness and energy. The vanilla is warm comfort and childhood memories. So this symbolic meaning can influence customer emotion and purchasing behavior in the service environment. For example, the Starbucks. Starbucks coffee intentionally allows the smell of freshly brewed coffee to dominate the store environment, and the coffee aroma is symbolized the comfort, warmth, and daily routine for many customers. It triggers familiar memory of morning coffee habit, encouraging customers to enter the store and purchase the drink. Moving to the next section, 5.5 brand and products. With the olfactory stimuli of brand product, so we have the core idea is that company use product scent to create the emotional connection and brand identity. Scent can help differentiate brand from competitor, and the product scent can function in three ways. The first way is primary attribute. Scent is the main reason to buy. Second is the secondary attribute. The scent enhance an otherwise odorless product. And the next is marketing tool. Scent used in advertising or promotion to strengthen the brand recall. For example, we have OMO, or maybe known as the Omo laundry. The product are with the keyword is strong, fresh, clean laundry fragrance. So the scent here become part of brand identity associated with the cleanliness and freshness. Consumer often recognize and remember Omo through its distinctive laundry smell, strengthening the brand loyalty. And what about a scent in advertising? Brands sometimes use scent in advertising to trigger the memory and emotional association with the product. This can appear in formats like the Scratch and Sniff magazine, or the scent billboard, or the newspaper. However, the scent strategy do not always succeed because some people may find the smell unpleasant or irritating. So, for example, the Calvin Klein, when promoting the CK1 perfume, uh, the brand included a scratch and sniff perfume in the magazine, and reader could smell the fragrance directly, not just see the advertisement. The scent created a strongly sensory experience and emotional connection with the product. And with the scent in product evaluation. Scents are powerful stimuli that trigger the memory and emotional association. A pleasant product scent can improve product evaluation and brand perception. Product scent also help strengthen the memory of the brand and product information. For example, we have Beauty Bar has a distinct, mild and creamy fragrance. The, the pleasant scent makes consumers perceive the soap as tangible and high quality. And the fragrance also help customers recognize and remember the brand, influencing their positive product evaluation. And about the scent in services. Services are intangible, so scent can help make the service experience more tangible and memorable. A service scent can strengthen the brand identity and competitive differentiation. Companies should consider whether a scent should be present, whether it is pleasant or unpleasant, or whether the scent fits the service context. So, take Maru as an example. At Maru, the rich aroma of milk chocolate and cacao fill the store. So the scent make the chocolate service experience more immersive and indulgent. Customers associate the smell with premium handmade chocolate and encouraging the purchase and the longer visit. As for the mood and behavior, the scent can strongly trigger the emotional memory, influencing the mood and behavior of the customer. For example, the pleasant scent can improve the mood and emotional state. The unpleasant scent, however, create a negative mood and reaction. So the positive scent environment can increase the creativity, productivity, and helpful behavior. For example, Miniso store diffuse light floral and fruity fragrance in the shopping space, and the pleasant scent create happy and relaxing mood for a shopper. So customers feel more comfortable browsing longer and can explore more product. And with a scent symbolism in the brand and product. Companies use product scent as a symbol of brand identity to create emotional association and memory. A scent linked to a brand can function as brand cue and similar to a logo or color. Two main form is the olfactory brand. The scent can register as a trademark. Signature scent, a consistent scent used to represent a brand but not regularly registered. For example, the Celine. Celine launched a fragrance line with the Celine Heart Perfumer collection, where the scents are designed to represent the brand person elegant and minimalist luxury identity. So the fragrance as can act as the symbolic intention of the brand, translating the brand aesthetic and lifestyle into scent. And customers associate the smell with luxury and Parisian culture reinforce their brand image beyond visual elements like fashion or logos. And that also the end of the chapter 5. Welcome to the chapter 6, Sensory Principle for Touch. And in chapter 6, we will explore how the sense of touch works at an individual level, the role of touch, and the importance of tactile cue and stimuli for brand product and service environment, and also how a company could apply tactile stimuli in the marketing practice. And the last one is the advantage and disadvantage of tactile stimuli. Moving to the first part, the human body and touching. Here we have the key theory from a textbook that touch is a closer sense in evaluating brand and product. Physical interaction with product can provide tactile information that influence the cognition, emotion, and purchase behavior, allowing customer to touch and interact with the product, increase confidence, positive attitude, and impulsive buying. So, for example, here we have Apple Store. Apple Store are designed so customer can freely touch, task, and interact with devices like the iPhone or MacBook, and the hands-on interaction allow customer to experience the product design, the weight, and interface, making the product feel more tangible. So this tactile experience can strengthen the product confidence and perceive quality before purchase. And now let's dive into the characteristic of touch. Here we have the physiological aspect. Touch allows individuals to perceive product attributes such as texture, temperature, weight, and shape. The fingertips are highly sensitive because they contain many touch receptors and connected to the brain sensory cortex. So the heartbeat system also combines the skin, muscle, and joint to help people explore objects through movement like brushing or holding or rubbing. So there are two types of touch. First is the active touch. Consumers touch and explore a product themselves. And the second one is passive touch. Someone else touch the individual, which can create the emotional responses. So here we have the example about the IKEA. IKEA encourage customers to sit on the sofa, open drawer, or touch the furniture material in the showroom. So the physical interaction here can help customers evaluate comfort, stability, and material quality through the habit system. And this tactile exploration can allow consumers to form a more concrete perception of the product before purchase. And about the psychological aspect, touch plays a key role in cognition, emotion, and memory, allowing individuals to recognize and evaluate the product. Two main types of touch. First is hedonic touch, touching for pleasure, curiosity, or sensory enjoyment. Instrumental touch, touching to gather product information. And physical contact with product often lead to stronger emotional responses and more positive product attributes. For example, customers in Uniqlo often touch and rub the fabric like Uniqlo Heritage or Aerism clothing to feel the softness and texture. The tactile interaction allows customers to evaluate the fabric comfort and quality directly. This instrumental touch helps reduce uncertainty about how the product will feel and worn, supporting the purchase decision. Moving to the next part about the tactile perception and societal culture. So what is the tactile perception? Tactile perception refers to how individuals interpret touching or being touched by people or objects. Touch perception can vary across individual preferences, cultural norms, and gender differences. Consumers are different in need for touch, with their high NFT can refer physically touching product before purchase, and low NFT, which is visual information or this description, may be sufficiency. For example, in store the ant food, many customers touch the short fabric before buying, especially to feel the softness, thickness, and fabric quality. So, customers with high need for touch want to physically evaluate the textile quality before purchasing, and this tactile inspection can reduce the perceived risk when buying clothing. So, what is the touch symbolism? Touch art as a symbol of emotional meaning in human relationship and social interaction. The positive touch, like hearts or handshake, can symbolize care, warmth, and belonging. Negative touch can symbolize rejection or discomfort. So, for example, when customer try on rings and necklace or the bracelet at B&G, the art of physically touching symbolize can symbolize a love, emotional connection, especially for engagement for wedding purchase. And this physical interaction can help customer imagine the meaningful life moment, like the engagement, anniversary, or marriage. Touch can strengthen the emotional value of the brand and increase the purchase intention. And moving to the service environment, what is the tactile stimuli? Tactile stimuli in service environment influence how customers feel, think, and behave. Elements such as temperature, material texture, air, and surface design shape the overall sensory experience. When environment encourage physical interaction with product, customers are more likely to engage longer and more impulse purchase. For example, in Zara, clothing is displayed openly on the rack and allowing customers to touch fabric, feel its texture, and check the garment quality before trying them on. So this physical inspection can encourage the product engagement, making customer more likely to pick up the item and try them on. So increased interaction with product can lead to a longer store visit and higher impulse purchase. And about touching brand and product, consumers often seek physical interaction with product to understand their characteristic, like the texture, softness, hardness, and quality. So encouraging customer to pick up and touch product can increase the positive brand attitude and impulse buying. Vision and touch work together. Visual cues such as signage can stimulate touching behavior, and products with strong material property are usually referred in physical store because customer can touch them. So what about the online environment? In online environment, the lack of tactile information can discourage the purchase, especially for high-touch related products. For example, in BT store, customers often pick up to feel the material before try the shoe on. So touch allows customers to evaluate the flexibility and comfort of the shoe. This tactile interaction can increase confidence in product quality before purchase, and customers are more likely to trust the brand so they can proceed with their purchase decision. And with their being touched by other, so the core idea here is that interpersonal touch, like the light touch or the handshake, can positively influence the emotion, trust, and perception of other. In service environment, when staff lightly touch customer, it can lead to longer time spent in the store, higher spending, or tipping. So research also show that gender differences that the women can often respond more positively to interpersonal touch than men. For example, in some service interaction at Starbucks, the the barista may briefly touch a customer's hand while hand over a drink or recipe. So the subtle interpersonal touch can create a feeling of friendliness and personal connection. As a result, it can increase the customer satisfaction and positive brand perception. So, what about the Tactile stimuli of brand and product. Tactile cues such as texture, softness, hardness, shape, material are really important brand or product identity. Consumers often touch the product using their hand and finger to evaluate these characteristics. So products with strong tactile quality are more likely to be touched before purchase. And touch can also be communicated through advertising material. For example, products like the Dyson Supersonic Hair Dryer are designed with their smooth matter material and with the ergonomic handle. So the smooth texture and solid weight communicate advanced engineering and premium quality. So when customers hold their Dyson, the tactile experience reinforces the perception of innovation and high performance. And about a habit touch in product evaluation. Habit touch refers to the evaluating product using hands and fingers to perceive the tactile attributes such as texture, weight, and material. So, product with strong tactile stimuli like clothes, furniture, or fruit tend to be touched longer during the evaluation. And product with low tactile relevance like cereal or toothpaste are often evaluated mainly through the visual cues like packaging. The importance of touch in product evaluation depends on the type of product and the consumer needs for tactile information. For example, when purchasing the Oreo biscuit, consumers do not touch the product itself, and instead they rely on the visual packaging cues and the brand familiarity. The visual design and the brand recognition become the primary driver of the evaluation. So this shows that the habit touch is less important for certain baggage like the FMCG product. With their habit touch and other stimuli in brand product, their vision and touch can work together in product evaluation, but vision is usually the dominant sense. For a certain product like fashion or furniture, the tactile stimuli such as texture, softness, weight, and temperature become more important than the visual cue. Combining visual, tactile, and auditory stimuli can stimulate the customer to approach, touch, and interact with the product. Marketing cues like some signage like touch me or try me can significantly increase the product engagement and exploration. For example, electronic retailer often play the side encourage the customer to test the laptop and with a visual cue like try me or touch me, Signage can encourage customer to approach the product. So once customer interact physically with the device, engagement time can increase, which raises the likelihood of purchase. Moving to the last part in the section 6.5 brand product, touch symbolism. The physical feel of a product can create symbolic meaning about quality and brand value. Consumers often associate heavier, smoother, and premium or premium material like with luxury and reliability. So packaging texture can symbolize product benefit. For example, the smooth bottle can result in the smooth hair. So the habit signature, like a distinctive tactile experience that help customer recognize and remember a brand through touch. And the haptic technology that is technology using vibration, pressure, or texture feedback to still simulate the touch in digital devices. For example, the sample bottle of Dove often have a curved and soft touch plastic texture. So the smooth texture symbolize the softness and hair care benefit. The tactile feel can feel reinforce the brand promise of gentle beauty or the nourishment. So consumer can associate a bottle feel with their expected hair result. And that is also the end of the sensory marketing presentation of chapter 5 and chapter 6. Thank you for listening.